We announced the engagement over dinner. Mom made lasagna, Dad's favorite, and my sister was almost smiling from across the table. Her fingers trembled slightly as she held the ring out for everyone to see. There it was, next to her. That bright, confident smile, like he knew exactly how perfect he was. In the kitchen light, he looked like a man who had it all. To everyone else, it was true. I clapped, I laughed, I even hugged, but something in my chest cracked gently because Sam was looking at me like that. It had all started a year earlier, before he'd asked my sister out. He was a family friend, the son of Dad's business partner, and he visited often. He'd help around the house, stay for dinner, and play guitar with me in the backyard, under the orange sunset. Everyone adored Sam. My parents said he was the kind of guy who made you feel safe as soon as he walked into a room. He'd bring me a beer and tell me I had great taste in music. He would ask me about my drawings, my favorite books, the things I thought no one noticed. Once, we stood on the porch until 3 a.m. talking. I remembered the way his eyes would meet. The long silences between our words. It was touching, unspoken, real, but he didn't move a muscle. 2 months later, he started dating my sister, my older sister, the one with the golden hair, who is still my favorite sister. Gina, she was sweet and gorgeous, the kind of girl men fell in love with easily, and Sam, at least. That's what I told myself. At least that's what everyone thought. But even after they were a couple, Sam didn't stop lingering. He'd look at me across rooms when he thought no one was noticing our conversations. They remained heavy with pauses and unfinished sentences. His fingers brushed my hand for a very long time. When he passed a plate, it wasn't on my mind. I knew this kind of attention. I'd felt it before in bars and alleys, behind clubs. In intimate moments, charged with desire and danger, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't want them. One night, 2 weeks before our engagement dinner, I went to the garage to get a soda. The lights were dim, the door was ajar, and there was Sam. His shirt tucked into his back, having lifted the boxes, breathing heavily. His chest rose and fell in a rhythm that caught my attention and my breath. "You're always sneaking around?" he joked when he saw me. "I live here," I said, smiling nervously. He came closer. "You've been avoiding me?" I looked down. "You're with my sister. This wasn't what I asked for." I said nothing. My hands were cold on the soda can, and my heart was pounding. Then he said, "I think about you more than I should." He never touched me, never crossed the line physically, but his voice was thick and stern, and that scared me more than anything. Then he stepped back as if he hadn't just destroyed me, as if he hadn't lit a match and dropped it into my middle. Now, sitting across the table, my family applauding, I watched him kiss her on the cheek and smile, as if this was the life he wanted. Maybe it was. Maybe I was just a moment of curiosity for him, a pervert, a dangerous game he liked to play in the dark. But not in broad daylight after dinner. I went to the backyard and sat on the old swing, trying to breatheth. Night was humid, the air thick with scent of roses from Mom's garden. I stared at the stars, hoping they distract me. They didn't. I didn't hear him come out. "You okay?" he asked. Sawfly flinched. "Yeah, you didn't eat much." Wasn't hungry a pause. "Do you hate me?" he asked. It earned to look at him. "You're marrying my sister." He sat beside me close enough that our knees touched. "That's not an answer. I didn't think one I never meant for." "This to happen," he said. "But I can't stop wanting you." I looked at him then away, because if I didn't I do something I'd regret, something that could burn everything down, you'd need to leave? I said quietly. He stood, hesitated, then walked away into Thederk. I sat there long after he was gone, staring at the shadows in the yard. Thepin wasn't just in the loss of something forbidden, it was in knowing that. No matter what happened next, so mean I loved was going to get hurt. Maybe it would be her, maybe it would be him, but it had already started, and nothing would be the same. Againsome didn't show up for Sunday brunchina, said he had work stuff, something about site delays and missed calls. Shouldn't seem bothered, but I knew better. You could feel it in my skin and the aka behind my ribs. He was avoiding me, and I was grateful for it at least, I told myself. I was, but when his name lit up on my phone that night, just a single message, "Can we talk?" My hands started shaking. I waited 15 minutes, then I replayed "Come after their sleep." I knew it was wrong, every part of me screamed it, but I also knew I couldn't take the silence anymore. I needed to see his face, to hear his voice without pretense. Without my sister in through, maybe it would help me. Finale lit. Maybe. He arrived just past midnight. I opened the door in silence. Barefoot pounding, he looked tired, his hair-messy eyes dark and unreadable. Neither of us said a word as he stepped aside to let Jim in. We walked into the kitchen, the soft hum of the fridge, the only sound between us. He leaned against the counter, arms crossed, his mouth twitching like he had too much to say, and no way to say it. I didn't know how to be around you, Wanna more. He admitted finally, then didn't. I said, voice sharper than it meant. He flinched. That's not what I want. What do you want? Sam, you're marrying her? His jaw tightened. I didn't plan this. That doesn't make it okay. He looked at me then, eyes burning. I know it doesn't. I know I'm the worst kind of offerson right now. But when I'm with Harry, I'm thinking about you. When I touch Harry, remember your face. I'm trying to Beatty man she deserves, but my heart it keeps dragging me back here. I turn away, gripping the sink, feeling dizzy. You think this is easy for me? Yes, do you think I wanted to feel anything for you? He stepped forward slowly, then, did you reply to my message? F rose. He was behind me now, too close. E could feel the heat of him, the quiet danger in the space. We shared one step from disaster, one whisper from something neither of us could undo. Turned around and he kissed me. It was soft at first, like a confession, a trembling broken thing that tasted like a rutagrat. But then my hands found his shirt and his arms wrapped around my back, and the very thing we'd buried exploded like atom finally breaking. We stumbled into the living room, mouths crashing, fingers desperate. The couch met us, hard and forgiving, but we didn't care. His breath was ragged against my throat. Mine caught somewhere between a moan and a sob. For a moment we forgot everything, Mrs. Stir, our promises, the rules, their ways, and heat and hunger, and the echo of something too deep to name. After we lay in silence, tangled and bare beneath the throw blanket, his fingers traced invisible shapes on my chest. My breathing hadn't steadied. This was a mistake. I whispered. I know, he said, but I didn't regret it. He didn't answer. It earned to face him. Are you going to marry her? I don't know, he said, voice hollow. I didn't know anything anymore. And just like that, the shame returned cold and sharp. I sat up, pulling the blanket tighter around me. She's my sister, Sam. No, you're supposed to love her. I treated. Hit me harder than I expected. I stood walking over to the window. The moon was high, the yard silver and still. Somewhere deep in the house, a floorboard cracked. My stomach twisted. I can't be your secret, I said, not turning around. You're not, he replied. I waited. I love you, he added, and that shattered something inside me because I wanted to say it back. But it wasn't that simple. Not with the ring on her finger, not with wedding invitations already sent. I need time, said softly. Sam student wrapped his arms around me from behind, pressing his forehead to Miss Holder. I'll wait, just tell me. You felt it, Toei closed my eyes. I did, and maybe thought was the real tragedy, that what we felt was real, that it wasn't a fling or curiosity or some dark temptation. It was love, messy, raw, inconvenient love, and it was going to break everything Jenna found out on a Tuesday, not from a message, not from overheard whispers, but from a look, a stupid, lingering look Sam gave me when he thought no one else was watching. We were in the kitchen. Mom was frosting cupcakes. Humming, I was setting thuddable. Sam walked in, said my name, and something about how he said it made her turn. She looked at him, then me. Her eyes narrowed, her smile faded. She didn't sign anything in that moment. She just left. Room slow and careful, like if she moved too fast, something would shatter, and she was right. It would. That night cornered me in the hallway. You slept with him, she said, voice flat. I didn't deny it. Her face crumpled. You're my brother. I know he was going to be my husband. I swallowed, heart hammering. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. Her laugh was short and bitter, but it did. I reached out. She stepped back. I loved him, she whispered. You knew that I didn't mean to hurt you, then why does it hurt this much? Shooked away before I could answer, and I didn't try to stop her. The fallout was worse then. I imagined she told my parents everything there were, tears howling questions I couldn't answer. Dad was furious. Mom cried. Jenna didn't look at me for days. Sam didn't come around to Newmore. His car stopped showing up in the driveway. His name Vanished from group texts. The wedding was called off quietly. No dramatic posts, no explanations, just silence, cold and heavy. Heard he moved out of his place downtown. I didn't ask where he went for a week. I didn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I kept replaying. Everything, every touch, every word, every choice that brought Justo that moment, and I hated myself. But in Macedonia, I didn't know you could feel both things so deeply at the same time, shaman longing, guilt and love. Then one night, I found him waiting on the front steps of my building. It had been almost 3 weeks. His hair was longer, his face unshaven, eyes tired. I shouldn't be here, he said. But I had to see you. I didn't speak. Just opened the door and let him in inside. We didn't touch, wet and kiss. We just sat across from each other in the living room. Silent, stretching, like a wire ready to snap out. Jenna, he asked finally, broken-handed. I figured she loved you, I know, and I think I did too, I added, but no. I don't know what this is no more. His face twisted. It's still love, even if it's painful, even if it cost you so writhing. Then why does it feel so wrong? Because we didn't handle it. Righty looked at him, really looked at him, the man who'd once made me laugh until I cried, the man whose touch felt like electricity. The man who chose me but too late, too recklessly. I don't think I can forgive either of us, I said softly. Sam stood then. Let me fix it. Let me make this right, how I'll talk to Jenna, not to defend myself, just to give her what she deserves, closure, on a steal of it. And then if you still want, may he paused, if you still feel the way I feel, we'll start over the right way, knows Kretsnali's. He did what he said. He met with Jenna. I wasn't there, but she told me about it later. Said he didn't try to justify it, didn't cry, didn't beg, just stoned. His part apologized with outstirrings that didn't fix her pain, but she said it helped her breathe. We didn't speak for a while after that, Jenna and I, but slowly cracks turned into openings. That family doesn't mean perfection. It means showing up, even when it's missing. She asked if I was still seeing Sam. I said no, because I wasn't, not yet. It took months before I saw him again. Met on the bridge downtown where we aunt sat at midnight and shared. Freeze out of a paper bag, talking about the future like it was something we could bend. He smiled when he saw me, not the calming, polished grin. Just some think within, still waiting, I asked. Always Hesed. We walked to the water's edge and sat down. This time there was no urgency, no heat, just something warmer, wiser. You think we can have something real now? Asked. He reached for my hand. I think we can try this time without hurting any, and it'll get there. I looked at him, and first time, the ache in my chest felt lighter. Maybe love wasn't always clean, maybe. It never would be, but maybe it was still worth holding on to if we were brave enough to build it from Thuricage.